Hi, and welcome to the family. Today we're joined again by Rob Radtke in Houston, Texas for the fourth and final installment in a short series we're calling On the Radio with Rob. Hi, Rob, and thanks for joining us again. Today we're set to wrap up this informational series, and we're going to discuss communications in public safety, public service, and high-end commercial applications. Is that right?
Yeah, Mark, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So what I'm going to talk about today is something that is industry specific in the communications universe called P25 or Project 25, and it goes back to the late 90s and into the early 2000s when there was a lot of issues with communications and interoperable communications, which essentially means that one agency is able to talk to another, and no matter where those agencies are. And some of this actually came out of the September 11th Commission and all of that. There was more of that kind of thing needed, but this was discovered a long time ago. And there's an organization called APCO, and that's the Association of Public Safety Communication Officials International. And they worked with several other groups, including the NSA and the DoD, to come up with a standard that eventually came to be known as P25 or Project 25. And essentially what that did is it created a standard for public safety, for public service. So think, electrical companies and municipal electrical outfits, your even sometimes your refuse collectors or your garbage men, or any of those public utilities, things like that, and even like oil refineries and some other ones will use Project 25 because of its ability to utilize both intrinsically safe radios, which means they're safe in dangerous environments, like high vapor environments or explosive vapor environments, things like that, as well as the ability to apply encrypted security that is as close to military grade as possible with respect to encryption, and also to utilize data across that same network, as opposed to just simply just simple two-way communication. You can also send text data, location data, depending on your equipment, things of that nature. So it's designed and has evolved since then to create a standard that allows us to, in the communications world and in public safety and public service, to utilize one specific type of technology. In Europe, in something like 50 or 60 countries, there's a slightly different standard called Tetra, or the terrestrial radio standard, and it's very similar, although a little bit cheaper of a technology but it does a very similar thing. So it's something that's been recognized for a while as being necessary, but it's also P25 systems are growing, and in some places, it's just smaller municipalities, things like that, didn't always have access to them, but they're becoming more available, and the devices to attach to those networks are becoming cheaper, which is definitely a good thing. And with Warner and Voceon, we do quite a bit of P25 work with communication centers and police departments and large scale customers that need the kind of benefits that P25 information systems can provide. And also there are open interfaces that allow like a common area interface, which allows a specific type of content to be shared over radios, and it will go between manufacturers. So that's one of those things that in the radio business, sometimes you'll have one manufacturer that can't talk to another, and that was P25 is meant to open that up a little bit. And there are other things that you can do with it, data network interfaces, and you can connect them to computers or telephone system networks. So something that you might have seen, in old TV shows and patch me through on the radio. Well, that was a little different than what it showed. It was a little bit futuristic of a little bit of future license there. But P25 makes that significantly easier to do, and although it's not done frequently, it makes it a lot more possible. And there are future phases of P25. We're in phase 2, generally speaking, now. And there are some future phases that are yet to be finalized, and we don't know where entirely it's going to go. But what we assume is that your public safety personnel will have a full suite of network access over P25 devices, and so network bandwidth and all that will make all of the difference. So there's a lot in the future, and phase 2 especially it talks about trunking and focuses on trunking, which means you've got essentially a lot of different access and a lot of different channels in a single pipe, and you don't need the same level of infrastructure, so it makes it a little bit more cost effective, and the operators can do a little bit more and be safer in the process.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Rob. Considering all that, what would you say to our viewers who are interested in a custom P25 solution of their own?
Well, if they're looking for something that will give them the ultimate standard in reliability and capability, then you can reach out at WarnerFamilyBrands.com, talk to me or any one of our communications specialists, and we can get you what you need. And if you're already currently utilizing a P25 system, we also sell network infrastructure and install that, as well as P25 radios of most major manufacturers.
All right. Well, thanks again, Rob. Appreciate your time on this whole series. It's been helpful, and thank you all for watching. That's it for now. Stay tuned for more news and views you can use.